This video is more of just a channel update, so if you're familiar or a returning viewer, there's no art advice in this video, I'm sorry. This is more just to let you know where my head's at. You don't need to be concerned about any sort of massive change in direction from me or this channel. I know that was a concern a bit in the past. Think of this as more me like pivoting in place. I'm still kind of figuring out my niche a bit, as well as the last couple videos I've made have been very high effort for me, so I can't really diversify my content even if I wanted to, because there's not enough content yet, right? It's like you need, in order to establish a pattern, there just needs to be enough data, and there is not enough data yet. So we're gonna work on that. Don't worry, I'm not gonna pander to any one group in particular. I don't even know who I pander to. I know some people brought that up of, don't let anyone dissuade you. They're not. If I was gonna pander to anyone, it would just be to me. The channel's not gonna have any sort of major change in delivery style, so don't worry. There's gonna be no little chibi in the corner. There's gonna be no little VTuber model where I have a high-pitched voice and I'm all bubbly. That's just not who I am. Don't worry. There's for sure gonna be no anthropomorphic animal with its arms crossed. If anything, I may do more Overwatch, like an Overwatch green screen, and have a character like move around on screen, but that's more just, hey, I need to demonstrate it moving around. So yeah, don't worry. That last video I just put out, if you haven't seen it, took a lot of work from me. That was, I don't even want to try and put together all the time I put into it. It was a lot. The video was definitely worth it, I think, for me, because it definitely put a lot of stuff in perspective for myself. So it's good in that regard. It's good, it's helpful. I do kind of know what I'm talking about. It was worth the effort, but I don't think I ever want to do that again, or make a video of that length. If a video is ever that long like that again on my channel, it's going to be like a stream VOD or something, and that's if I even want to stream anything, and I don't even know if I want to, because I don't even know how that would work with a channel like this. Also, I don't know how professional I want to keep this channel. Do I want to just start uploading random stuff, or do I want to keep every video very tight and precise? Or is this going to be more like just a digital workspace for myself? I don't know. It's probably going to transform a bit more into a digital workspace for myself, but I will keep... The large focus of this channel will be on animation. I would like to switch a bit of my content to be a little less high demand for me, unless it started providing some sort of direct benefit to myself. Because that, again, these last couple of videos have been kind of not invasive of my personal life, but they've just taken up a lot of my thinking and my free time, and I've just been... the way I've been spending my free time because of these videos have not been to the way I want to the most. The things I want to do, I'm kind of putting to the side because I go, oh, I'm on a roll with the video, but the video took God knows how many hours to make. So the roll just kept going. The Anatomy and Appeal video, I treated it with a bit of a no stone left unturned approach, because I didn't want any sort of miscommunication to happen again like some of my previous work. So I tried to take every point of serious criticism seriously and integrate it into the video, and because of it, the video just kept ballooning in time. I originally thought, hey, Anatomy and Appeal, that video's only gonna be like 40 minutes long or something. Ha 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 ha. No, the script for the video was so long. When I was doing the voiceover for it and the initial main passes, I had to do it on two different days, because I actually lost my voice by the end of the first recording session, because I was talking for nearly 2 hours straight, and I don't usually talk a lot, so my body was not used to that. These ideas I'm about to present for the future of the channel are kind of open to discussion, but I'll likely get around to all these ideas in time. Therefore, this video may not need to stay up forever, because I may actually just accomplish all the things I set out for myself. So I may actually just take this down in like a year and a half, because it'll just take up space on my channel. Who knows? The ideas I'm about to present have no hierarchy. They're just going to be numbered because I felt like classifying them as such. So they're not in order of importance or anything. Idea number one is to redo some of my previous videos, specifically the Princess Phenotype video and the Shape Psychology video. So for the Princess Phenotype video, I would likely turn it into the Friendly Phenotype. Don't worry, there's going to be like no pandering in the video. I'm not going to condemn anything. I'm not going to do anything like aggressive. I'm going to also take out more antagonistic a tone from the video. So it's going to be reworked from the ground up. I'm going to remove the focus exclusively on women from that video, and I'm going to integrate more just kind of in general character design and how some men have the faces too. I'm also going to probably rename the video Friendly Phenotype and Same Face Syndrome. I'm also going to go through how the face works between styles to say, so technically you could say a character like Juno and Mel from Arcane would have very similar looking faces because they do have lots of the same properties. They're just from two completely different styles, so you're not likely going to like acknowledge it. It's because your brain doesn't register on the same level, but they do have many of the same facial features. The anime face is basically trying to represent a face that kind of looks like Mel's from Arcane, but it's a stylistic choice, right? It's like how Mr. Incredible doesn't look like a real human because it's a stylistic choice. I'm also going to remove the second half from the video because the more I think about it, the more I regret making that second half. I'd also have a section describing the cat face thing with the style and the bias it has against properly representing closer to the equator ethnicities. Right, you can get the friendly phenotype on a close to the equator ethnicity. Right, Lifeline and, like I've said, Mel both have the face. But in the anime style, they look nothing like that. So I'd bring that up because it's kind of just like it's more like a, trust me, bro, they're black or they're Polynesian. But it's like, but they don't look like it, though. But I'm not going to bash it because of that. It's just kind of a stylistic thing. I'd add a section on art advice, so if someone actually is struggling with the same face syndrome thing, I'd give them maybe some tips on how to break free of it. And then I'd also probably add a section focusing on Overwatch and why lots of the women look very similar to each other. Because a lot of it is there are very subtle differences between some of their faces, of like one of them has a more rounded nose, some of them have slightly like different jaw angles, but right, someone compared like Ashe and Widow, and it's like the difference is like 12 degrees or something on some features of their face, and it's very similar compared to the men, right? Cassidy and Doomfist don't look the same. Moira and Alari don't look the same, right? Like they can do different faces. At a baseline, it does sell a lot. That is a fact. I'd also add within Overwatch, I'd go through some of the changes I'd make to some of the women's faces to make them not look, I don't want to say make them look ugly, but make them look like where they came from. Vendetta came out and she looks, to me, at least more Mexican than she does Italian. And the thing is, Italian women are not unattractive if you've seen them. So that would it'd just be like me going through on just little minor tweaks to some of the women to make them look like where they came from. Because I don't want to say like, oh, I'm gonna make them ugly, but it's just, it's a little repetitive sometimes, you know? And then the other video I'd remake is the shape psychology video, not in the same from the ground up approach to the princess phenotype video, but I would take out the channel update section because that thing tanked its performance because the viewer retention kind of looked like a cliff face and YouTube does not like that. So I'd maybe redo some of the line deliveries too because I felt like I didn't pronounce some things the way I wanted to. And then the video would be kept basically the same, but I just want to give it a fair shot in the algorithm because it seems as though I present information in a really straightforward didactic way that many other channels don't do. And speaking of which, I did a little perusing around with other channels and kind of the character design art space. Oh yeah, this channel is kind of this one feels a lot more odd compared to those guys because this one just doesn't have the same tone. I am noticing a lot in the art space. I don't want to say I'm an odd one out because probably everyone in the art space thinks they're an odd one out, but especially the lifestyle I've had has kept me kind of separate from most people who would be in the current art space, and it has given me a far different approach to tackling art. If I were to redo some of my videos, I'd likely delete or remove the original ones. Not because they're bad, but because I'm just going to tackle them and do it better. So there's no point in keeping them up, as well as a lot of the pushback on the the princess phenotype video. It just doesn't look good. Like, ooh, it was just fighting in the comments sometimes. That's like, I don't like that. Anyway, idea number 2, videos on the productions of certain styles and animation. So I'd have a couple production styles in mind. So that would be 2.5D animation. So that would be stuff like Arcane, Dispatch, Blue Eye Samurai, Trigun Stampede, and Stargaze, and Halo: The Fall of Reach, surprisingly. That is a unique animation style that has become quite a bit more popular in the last, like 8 years or so. And it's an interesting style to take note of because it has to tackle things a lot differently compared to purely 3D or purely 2D art styles. So I'd likely have a section in that video dedicated to Trigun because it has a face deformation tool that the artists use because the faces are very anime. They're anime faces. So anime faces do actually break the convention of how certain features of our face look from certain angles, especially our eyes and mouth. So I'd probably go into how they used tools to deal with that. I'd also have a section dedicated to the visual effects of Arcane as its 2D animation compared to the 3D animation of the characters. And then the other video on the production type would be the working title, The Korean Pipeline. So that'd be stuff like Invincible, Avatar, Critical Role shows, Castlevania, and most modern 2D animation made for TV, especially the stuff that Netflix has been making recently in the last 5 years. And I'd probably go through why it's so common now and some of the complications it has because of it. And also why that production pipeline is so popular. And then I'd maybe make one on motion capture, scanning real-life models in the video games or 3D spaces, and facial animation. So it'd basically just be realistic art styles and how artists go about doing that. Granted, I don't know a lot about motion capture and absolute realism as an art style, so I'd have to do a lot of research for that one. And then idea number 3. It would be focusing videos on individual franchises or installments of some things. And I'd probably call the series like Little Things. For example, I'd go through maybe like season 1 of Blue Eye Samurai, and I'd go through all the little details of the character design within it. So I'd break down like each of the main cast's design and maybe go through how their design conveys their characters, as well as maybe the unique body language or animation choices done in certain scenes for them, or just a pattern of body language they have throughout the show or game. And then I may also just tackle a couple of unique, well-done animated shots that are just nice to touch on because I think they're cool. Or maybe just a neat little reference or item that the character carries throughout the series that's representative of them or their journey. Maybe I could also explain a musical motif if there is one, but I don't know all that much about music theory or music in general. It would just be like, hey, I can recognize a melody when I hear one. So I'd maybe just be bringing that one up. Possibly have shorter videos breaking down individual character design. So like tackling 3 characters from Overwatch at a time, or maybe just breaking down like Tracer's design and even making it in like a short form content, like a YouTube short or something. But I don't know how appealing that would be to me to making a lot of short form content. Anyway, breaking down these characters one at a time, I'd basically be like, hey, I got Baptiste, Tracer, and Reaper from Overwatch, and we're just gonna break them all down. We're going to break down their body language. We're going to break down what they're meant to convey. We're going to break down how it's conveyed. Break down their silhouette, too, or something. Just like tackling one at a time each of the characters. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking now. I could maybe have a video where I tackle like 3 to 4 characters at a time. And depending how I did it, I could cut each individual character into their own individual YouTube short. I could do that, okay. And then idea 4 would be a shot breakdown and analysis. So this is one I'm kind of leaning to doing more of in the future. So this would be very easy for me to make, very, not low effort, but just not a full month of writing a script with research and Googling the skull shape differences between like the faces across the world. Me booting up a couple clips from something I'd watched and breaking them down with the principles of animation. It would, be me breaking down the animation and mechanics of specific shots or a couple shots within a sequence in a show or a movie. Because of this, it would include stuff with VFX, so visual effects work in it. So this does include movies like Star Wars, Transformers, Pacific Rim, because the animation principles still apply there. Because of it, though, I may make multiple videos on one series. For example, right, I could have a couple different videos just on Pacific Rim breaking down maybe a couple of the kaiju fights and the mechanics going on there. Idea 5 is personal projects and tying this back to the actual real me, because I do want to focus a bit more on my personal animation stuff. I want to hone that skill because it is very important to me, and I may upload some of that work I do on here. Because of it, though, I may throw up some demo reels and then turn this channel more into like a pseudo portfolio. If you know the channel Hyper on YouTube, it would be kind of like turning this channel somewhat into that of he's got that other animation stuff, but then he's got occasionally portfolio work and then his actual real life name and contact information. Because of that, though, this would tie back to the real life me, and I may refrain from doing this for a while because of it. So idea number 6 is also, again, like I mentioned earlier, making more short form content. So that would be like, it'd be a mix of stuff. So if it was, breaking down a character very quickly in animation, throwing that into a YouTube short, and then maybe making an animated gag, which would be a personal animated project. And then maybe I could do something like turning the golden rule into a YouTube short. So those are the really 6 main ideas I have. Thanks for sticking around if you've been around for this long, and discussion is welcome. These ideas are not fully concrete. They're just kind of the main ideas I have floating around. And comments welcome, criticism welcome. Let's see what I can get done in the future. I'm hoping for the best here. And with that, take care.